You're watching Cairo Media Network. Hello, Cairo Media family. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience with us is fruitful. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we do hope you consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome back to the Daryl Walter Show. I say welcome back because I missed y'all last week. If you're out there, you're just coming on, welcome to the Daryl Walter Show. Tune in, make sure you click like, click share to everybody. How's everybody doing out there? What is going on to all of my people watching? Welcome back. I missed y'all. I missed y'all for real. Y'all, we have a lot to cover. We have a lot to go over, y'all. How's y'all week been? And I just feel like it's a lot going on this week. I think California is floating away. Child, it's a lot going on. Anyways, I want to say welcome, and I want to start the show off. I want to dedicate this show to Hydeia Brodbent. I hope I said that correctly. But yesterday, we lost world-renowned HIV/AIDS activist Hydeia Brodbent. Am I saying that correctly? Come on, dear. Such a beautiful light, such a beautiful show, beautiful soul. Almost 40 years old. And I want to tell a story. I actually met Hydeia. She is a Las Vegas native, as I don't know if many of you know out there, but she's from Las Vegas, and I was afforded the opportunity to volunteer with her during World AIDS Day for HIV/AIDS event back in 2017, 2018, around that time. And I want to give a huge shout out to Bruce Edens and his clinic over there, Horizon Ridge Clinic. I just want to say that Hydeia was so much more than an activist. Being around her, watching her, being able to interact with her friends, and meeting her brother, she was a bright light. I want to say she is a bright light that's transitioned into the next you know. But meeting Hydeia, she inspired me to live out loud, to live bright. She was enthusiastic about life, not just her passion for HIV/AIDS, but honey, she could dance. She could dress. I chose this picture because when she was out, and she was just an all around, down to earth woman who will be truly, truly, truly missed. Many of you saw her on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I know I share that moment with my mom. We watched her on the couch as at the age of 5, she shared her story with such bravery and such courage. So let's take a moment of silence and remember the amazing, the incomparable Hydeia Brodbent. All right, y'all. Let's get on with the show. And I believe Hydeia will want us to have fun, talk about that stuff. And let me say this also. When you're out there, make sure you're practicing safe sex also. Come on now. Now, let's get into these church announcements. Let's get into what went viral. I have a guest co-host who will be on eventually. I'm going to talk about her because she ain't here yet. But let's get into it. Okay, first order of business. Now, Beyonce, who we love and adore, most of us, recently came out with her country Act 2, right? And recently, Tiffany read a songwriter. Now, let me say this before we watch the video. Tiffany Red is an accomplished songwriter. She has credits from Jennifer Hudson, Neo. She's Grammy nominated, or she won a Grammy for working on the Jennifer. Okay. Look, they had to tell me to check everything. Okay, real quick. So we're going to get into the first topic, but first, let me introduce my guest co-host. She is a wife. She is a mother. She is an all-around amazing, amazing person. Known her for 20 plus years. She knows me from my coaching days, so we have a lot to talk about. She is the host of The Balanced Life that you can watch over there on Facebook at 12 noon every day, Monday through Friday. Introducing to some and presenting to others, Michelle Tate. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I heard you trying to start talking smack. I heard it.
I was because you're late, but that's okay because you're here, and that's what's most important.
Yeah. Thank you, friend. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Say hi to the people out there.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Tonight's going to be a really, really fun show. I'm a very, very fun person.
We're gonna have a good time. So make sure now, Michelle, let me tell you, make sure your friends are tuning in. If you want to click like, click share, let them know, tag them, share on your page or whatever. So we are getting into what went viral. Okay. And the first topic we're gonna talk about is Beyonce, who recently, I guess crossed over into Act 2 into her country music. But actually, young lady Tiffany Red, she came out and basically accused Beyonce of stealing songwriter credits. So let's play a little clip of what Tiffany had to say, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay. Almost all of my friends are in the music industry and write for your favorite artists, like a Beyonce. So I'm not up on the internet just talking and making things up. I'm not stupid. I ain't trying to get sued. That's called defamation. I'm not defaming anybody. I am coming to y'all with things that I can back up. The reason why I called out Beyonce is because Beyonce is the Michael Jackson of our generation. And so if there's anybody that could reshape the precedent, if there's anybody that could influence the industry, that had the power and the money and the cultural thing to say, you know what, y'all, you're right. These songwriters have been out here. We've been in the street, literally. I have been in the street. I could pull up my records. I talked to somebody yesterday, a manager of somebody who is a writer and producer on Renaissance, okay? The record is one of y'all faves. The song was written 6 years before it got to Beyonce. She got 25% of the song. I've talked to another writer who
let's pause right there
and
real quick.
sang on one of your favorite songs.
Now bring Beyonce up. Now let me start with the first question. Michelle, do you think Beyonce is the Michael Jackson of our time?
No, not at all. Not at all. And with all respect to people in Texas, because honestly, we live in Houston, Texas, and which is where Beyonce is technically from. That's what she claims. So speaking her name out here is like it's just blasphemous. If you don't say something nice about her, or I mean, the Beehive is a real thing. That's like a real thing out here. But no, I don't think Beyonce is the Michael Jackson of our time. Honestly, the Michael Jackson of our time, honestly, is Chris Brown. And that's just the truth. Just for so many reasons, but Chris Brown he's that talented. Like, I don't even know, his talent is like far beyond, excuse me, that of Beyonce, only because Chris Brown also writes his music. Doesn't write all of it.
I know, Kwame. I see your face.
So I gotta be honest here. But I think what most people are getting. Okay, so here's the thing, and I hate to tie this to her husband, but it's the truth. And literally, I was on my way to work this morning, and I was thinking about it. When he won whatever Oscar or Grammy, whatever he took home, and then he had the nerve to say that his wife still hadn't acquired the album of the year, although she had all of those other. How do you come late and speak of ill? I'm not speaking ill. I'm just speaking facts. This is real facts. What I'm saying. Here's the thing, though. That man he's probably responsible for like 60% of her career, because all what she did not acquire, he definitely bought. And that's without question. As sure as I believe Puff Daddy bought a lot of Carisha's recent exposures, I think that. So I think what he was saying up on stage was, out of all the things that he had purchased for her, I don't think that the album of the year was something that he could have purchased, because if that was the case, he would have did it. So I think people are mainly frustrated with Beyonce because I think that she is extremely talented. I think she's a hell of an athlete. I think that she is a perfectionist. I think that she works out until her toes and her ankles bleed. I think that she is a machine. She may sleep upside down. Who knows? She may levitate when she sleeps. I don't know. But I know that I hear what this young lady is saying. I just think that people, all in all, they're kind of like tired of the hype behind her. I think, but calling her Michael Jackson of our time, I don't think so. I just think that people are just tired of making her more of a bigger deal than what she already is, number one. And lastly, number two, I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard this last.
Hey, cupcakes! Hey.
I think this last little whatever this run she took at Country Western. I mean, and I don't even listen to Country Western, but this song, the one that Beyonce just sung, that didn't make me want to go hear it either. I think that she's great. I just don't think that this Country Western thing was. I think she's just having fun at this point. I don't think.
Okay, I'm gonna pull your coattail and take your money. No, it's okay. It's just a little long-winded. It's okay, baby.
I mean, because you know. So, girl, you telling me that you are a Beyonce fan?
Well, okay.
Concert. Oh, that's right.
Well, let me say this, and let me bring some clarity to the conversation with Tiffany Red. First, I want to say I am an accredited songwriter through BMI. Okay. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. And so I think what Tiffany is truly, it's truly not really an attack to Beyonce, but it's more so a call to Beyonce to change the standards in the music industry, and in particular in the urban music industry, right? Because a lot of times when we look at these albums and these artists and these songs, we have to remember it's made up of a whole team, right? Even Taylor Swift, as much as we want to think Taylor Swift just sits in a room and writes records and just goes in and stands behind the mic and just sings it. It's like, no, there are engineers, there are producers, there are other musicians, there are other songwriters who come in and offer, it's a whole team. I don't care how many people say they write by themselves. Before the song gets to the finish line, it has a team, right? With that being said, a lot of times when artists pick the song, because you got to remember what happens is with these artists, the songwriters, the producers, everybody knows that they're working on their next album or their next project. So they're all pitching songs, they're pitching records, whatever, right? And so let's say Beyonce, let's say the Tiffany was talking about Cuff It, right? That was written 6 years ago. So Beyonce says, I'm gonna use Cuff It as a song on my album. We know that song is gonna make money for a minute, right? So Beyonce says, I'm gonna take 25% of your publishing. You'll get 75% and I'll take 25%. So what usually goes on is that what happens in these song deals and these music deals, and anybody out there can correct me if I'm wrong, but when artists take the song, or when a producer pitches the song, like let's say you wrote a song and the producer J Moss likes it, and it go, hey Michaela, what's going on? I missed y'all. And it goes on to the album. Before it goes on to the album, the artist says, in order for us to take it, we need 25% of the publishing, 15, and that's where the negotiating comes in. And so what Tiffany is calling Beyonce to do is to be ethically fair in business and stop taking what's not hers. But to be clear, other artists are doing it. And so what she's saying is that if Beyonce changes the standard, then other artists will follow. I know that was a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Because I mean, here's the thing with songwriters and why like Tiffany is an award-winning songwriter. But the thing about it with songwriting, a lot of times you don't get paid on the front end, you get paid on the back end. What does that mean? After the song has been played over and over and over and over and over again, right? But a lot of times you don't see that money for 6 months to a year, sometimes even longer, because all the different companies that are, I know this is maybe too much talk, but all the companies behind have to track it, have to audit it, and go through all that process. Then you get a check.
Yeah, that's true. It's much like TV.
Much like TV, yeah. Okay. But in the hey Queen, what's going on? I think. See, I'm conflicted on this because.
I do.
Well, I'm a music person. I don't think of myself as a musician per se, but I'm someone who studied music, gospel, R&B, rock. You know, my credits in songwriting come from a genre that nobody would think I could write to, but because I've been trained in music, I look at music worldwide. So I think what Beyonce is doing is kind of innovative, you know, because the question is, what's Act 3 going to look like? What genre is she going to tap into next, right? But I don't see people having problems when Iggy Azalea starts rapping, or, you know, when white people start singing gospel really good.
Well, I think with Beyonce, and that's another thing I want to ask that. So if she's going to try out different genres, why hasn't she tried out gospel?
I mean, she did. Remember, she was on Michelle's When Jesus Says Yes. When Jesus says yes.
Was that considered gospel?
Let me tell you something. The church is not going to take Beyonce seriously if she does gospel. Honey, the way Juanita Bynum would read her would be nasty.
So?
It would be filthy, honey. the church is not. Anyways, let's move on to the next subject because we ain't got enough time. Okay, Mrs. Netta and the glow up. Let's just go through this real quick. Cause are you familiar with Charles and Miss Netta?
Of course.
Okay. No, Kwame, show the before picture.
Oh my
Show
God.
the before picture.
No, and I used to before they even got big.
Me too, but now show the after picture.
I watched them. I did.
Now show the after picture, and let's play the clip.
To be honest with you, just like my fans and stuff on here on social media, a lot of people, I don't know why, but a lot of people looked at me like I was a female. They didn't see the guy inside of me, because I was younger. My face was much clearer. I didn't have any hair bumps, and I just had that natural look, and I would get my hair done, and it was always ma'am. It was never sir, and I just went with the flow, So
okay, let's just stop right there.
That's just how that happened. And when people see me in the street, they would think.
Okay, so first of all, here's what I want to say about it. Anytime you think you ugly, anytime you think you raggedy, just remember it's not that you ugly, you just broke.
Jesus.
You just ain't got you ain't gotten to the right money hands. What you think of Miss Netta's glow up? What do you think?
I think that somebody, you honestly, isn't the truth I'm gonna say. Okay, so I think somebody ran across her Instagram, her YouTube, or her whatever, and seeing the Charles, your lunch is ready. And I think somebody noticed how mean he was to her and how dogmatic he was, and somebody decided to take that and put that on display. Because honestly, he's still the same like rude individual. So
okay,
and I often wondered if he was like mentally challenged as well. I'm like, maybe he's slow, so maybe he doesn't understand. And then that's another thing. I never got the impression that they were actually a couple.
So here's my thing with it, and I'm gonna put a pause in it real quick because we got to get on to the next topic, and we spent too much time on the first one. I love you. Okay. So I thought Mrs. Netta looked like Bill Cosby, and I was confused for a very long time because I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was that Charles had lunch ready at the table every day, and we would see what Charles is having, right? I also think this may be good for Miss Netta for her to live in her truth. Either way, we love it. We rooting for you, Miss Netta, and maybe one day we can interview you on the show. Let's move on to Monique.
Daryl, you're here for this?
Monique and Shalon. Okay, now this one hits close to home. Okay. Only because I just hate to see parents kind of arguing, but I want to go through this, and let's just start with the first clip, the original clip that all started it. So let's play it real quick. Monique on Club Shay Shay.
Okay, here we go, Jesus.
Okay. Make sure you keep your mute on. Okay. So the video that's coming up. Put your mute on the Look at that. So the video that's coming up is the original interview with Monique on Club Shay Shay. Okay. If you've been following, Shalon has been just yapping on the internet. So let's play the video first. Okay, we come, hey, we back. It's little glitches. So the first video we're gonna play hopefully in a couple of minutes. You got it, Kwame? There you go.
Your first son.
Yes.
That you're trying to get it. But it robbed you of a lot of things of a mother-son relationship.
It did.
And so you made sure not to make the mistake this time around. What's your relationship like? Is he resentful of that?
We're still very much separated.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where you have to pray to the universe and say, let time do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it. Let time do that healing. It may heal it in time and it may not.
Right.
And that's something that we as parents have to say, listen,
right.
I've done what I could do. I've taken accountability for it. Now it's up to you.
Right.
That's like when somebody's saying, Shannon, I want to apologize to you. Now it is up to you.
Whether or not to accept it.
Whether or not to, but once I give it to you, I've done my part.
Okay, now I want to play another clip also because Monique talked about this a couple of years ago. And some people go like, well, why is she talking about it? Why does she keep talking about it? If you followed Monique for a little while, for years, you know, she's had her children in her comedy stuff, as many comedians do. But it's come up again. So let's just look at this clip. And then, Michelle, I want to hear your thoughts.
You know, there was a time, and I have a son that will be 30 years old this year, right? And there was a time that when he was a little boy, I wasn't interested in being a mother. I was interested in being a star. And I was interested in being famous. And I wasn't interested in being a wife. I was interested in taking pictures and red carpets and signing autographs and traveling the world. So I didn't really put the focus in. And now that I'm 52 and he'll be 30, well, I pay for that. There's a price you have to pay for that. And I had to apologize to my son because I said to him, I don't want you to think that your story is not valid because I didn't tuck you in. I didn't read you those stories. I didn't show up at sporting events because my whole thing was, yeah, but whatever you ask for, I can provide it. You see this big house? You see that basketball court out back? You see that pool? Don't you come complaining to me about nothing because I gotta go. And when I did come home, now I'm tired. So now you don't understand that? So there was a time that this entertainment was the
All right, y'all. I know that was a lot. And what I want to do is, Michelle, I want to hear your thoughts after we come back from commercial. I'll see y'all in a couple of seconds because we got to pay some bills. All right. See you in the pit. Hold your thoughts. I know you.
Because self-care should be luxurious. Luxe Noir.
Hey pilots, did you know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bullet in Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bullet in Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, hey Google or Alexa, play Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn. Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bullet in Flight Radio.
What's going on? What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Daryl Walter Show with my special guest, Michelle. Now, Michelle, before we went to commercial, we saw those videos on Monique, and I don't know if you've been following the whole shenanigans going on around Monique and her son, Shalon. Shalon's been vocal about him being upset and what his mom has said. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think he's angry with her. He's very angry. And no matter how much she talks about it, she probably needs to dig a little bit more. It's not just about missing his childhood. It's about what you missed. So the anger that I see looking at the video is she didn't just miss his childhood. Something happened.
Michelle, make sure you maybe take your thumb off of your mic.
Can you hear me now?
There it is.
Oh,
yes.
I apologize. So something happened, whether he's told her or not, or whether she wants to share or not, and she probably needs to give ear and attention to that. But that's exactly what the problem is. I believe that there's more to meet the eye, and the relationship is sometimes it's damaged forever.
I agree with you. I have to say that now some of y'all gonna fight me on this. Some of y'all gonna come for me. But I think I stand with Monique on this one. And the reason being, I do. I'll tell you, I think coming from someone who did not have perfect parents, okay?
Okay.
Let me say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my mom did not she did not tuck me in a lot. As she was a working woman.
Mm-hmm.
There were times I used to think like my older brother and I used to have a joke that she wanted to be a single woman living her life and instead of being tied down with the kids. But the reason I know, Michaela, hear me out. Parenting does not come with a manual, right? And I would love to think that everybody gets these perfect parents who knows what to do, who knows how to be a mother, and that it just comes naturally for everyone, or a father for that matter also. Because, I've been very vocal. My father wasn't shit to me growing up. But the reason, and again, I only say that because both of my parents came from dysfunction.
Mm.
So I can only expect them to do what they know to do. And so when I look at Monique and listen to her story, she's someone who was molested by her brother. Her mother was not a good mother. She's not close to her family. And I can relate to that because I'm not close to my family by choice because it just wasn't healthy for me. We'll talk about all of that later on. Y'all can ask me all the questions you want to in another show. But, I think I stand with Monique because I think Monique is telling the truth. I wasn't a good mother. I sucked. And I really think on some point, the second set of the second children she had, they like, that's our mom. She crazy. She'll fight you. I think sometimes we have to accept the parents that we have and learn to love and parent ourselves the way that we need to be loved and the way that we need to be parented.
Yeah, I just think that it's more to her son. I think it's more to the story than you just missed my childhood. It is, whether she chooses to share it or not. But I think it's more to that, and I think she probably knows, and that's what
Okay,
it is.
so let me pause right here because we ain't got a lot of time, and I will have you back on. That's why I got to pause and keep it moving. Okay. So I feel like y'all. Michelle, I know her from the church back in the day. Okay, Michelle told me to be comfortable and be myself, so that's what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. You from the church, you got your little spiritual abilities and stuff. So are you sensing that there's more to the story?
Absolutely, without question.
Do you think it's something that she did that she doesn't want to talk about, or?
I think it was something that. Not only that she did, that she didn't want to talk about, but I think she, once you realize something happened and you may have made a mistake by being dismissive or, putting your child in harm's way or something like that, I think she buried herself at work to try to put a blanket over it. You know, like I'll work and I'll make sure you have everything that you want.
Yeah.
Shoes, car, Jordans, whatever. But I think as an adult, I think her son got tired of putting things and substances, probably. I wouldn't doubt if he doesn't drink or whatever, just to kind of mask and just to kind of like patch up things, areas of where he's hurt. I think the second set of children that you spoke of, are these with the husbands that she has now, this guy that she's married
Yeah,
to?
you know, and look, Dr. Holt said a very good point. It is a blessing to have wonderful parents. And let me
Yes,
say,
absolutely.
I mean, I say this to my friends out there. If you come from dysfunction, get you a friend with some good parents.
Yeah.
Get you a friend that comes from a two-parent household, because you get to at least see what it looks like, right?
Breathe.
Like, you
Mhm.
know, I think for me, honestly, I'm in therapy, you know, and I've been very vocal about it, but I'm in therapy so that I can realize that, you know, there are some things that my parents just could not be to me. You know what I mean? Like, my father just did not have the ability to be the father I needed him to be, even if I paid him.
So, Daryl, can we go back to the Boyce's comment where he just said, of course, there's more to the story. That's why we should be privy on. Of course, there's more. There is more, and that's why other people should not be a part of a personal matter. Everyone does not know all the facts, and agreed. So, what she's doing, Major Mr. Boyce, is that she goes on TV and she's being asked these things in interviews, and she's kind of like, you know, and that's. I mean, I get it, because when you hear, when a person that's listening to a story hear that you allowed your child in harm's way or something happened to your child, of course, it's going to just make it even worse.
Well, I'm just going to play devil's advocate on this one, because my other thought is, we haven't heard from Shalon in years. He is a comedian, which I haven't laughed yet. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the comedy to live up to the comedian. But also, he could have chosen not to respond, because I played the original clip because I wanted you all to see what she said. Did she say anything that would cause him to come online and refute what he said? So part of this is seeming like a little bit of a clout chase, and part of it is just I therapy is for everyone, and I will say it that way.
But
Okay,
how can you clout chase a person? How can you clout chase a person? She was speaking on him, so he should have a right to kind of refute, not refute what she said, but he should have a right to kind of respond.
Yeah, but what is he refuting? She said, I was a terrible parent. I ain't do it. I ain't get it right.
Uh-huh.
We are quite separated.
Kwame agree with Michelle. Thank you, Kwame.
That doesn't matter. Kwame agrees with anybody and everything. Yeah, that's what I said.
Whatever.
Because I'm the host, you're supposed to agree with me, so I feel a little slighted. But it's whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, I will just say this in closing. I wish the best for Shalon. You know, and just to anybody who has like familial issues, at some point you have to take it into your own hands and decide the road you want to travel. Thank you, Walby.
Go on, Walt. Bye, Walt.
You know, but I wish him the best, because here's the thing. Monique is living her best life. She got her man. Well, no, she's not living her best life. Anyways, let's see. Boy said, I'm a product of dysfunctional family dynamic, and it's a hell of a situation. You get better, but the trauma never leaves. Having positive friends and a head shrinker is a dire need. I agree with you. And let me just say this also, boys. I did something called EMDR therapy, which I highly recommend to anybody out there that has had major trauma in their life. EMDR therapy, highly worth it. Okay. Oh my goodness, 441. Jesus, Lord have mercy.
We go. It's over.
No, but we got shit to talk about, Michelle.
Well,
you know what?
On, hell.
You know, I know Michelle for too long. Michelle knows me before I was all of this, and when I was a Kojic young wee lad. And 20 plus years later, she still gets on my nerves.
And
Okay, Simon Guobadia. Child.
That sounds like a tongue.
He's married to Portia Williams Guobadia. Let's just run through this.
Here we go.
Because it's all I don't even know if it's all coming out. Anyways, I'm gonna read it real fast, y'all. The current husband of Portia Williams, which congratulates to her. Apparently, she negotiated a really, really high deal in a scripted series. So shout out to her. But she may be single soon. Because Simon was denied citizenship based on his criminal past, which involves numerous felonies, bank fraud, credit card fraud, identity fraud, and more. On July 11th, a 13-page petition was filed in the United Court in Atlanta. The civil action filing was regarding Simon against the Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration and the Director of Atlanta Field Officer Shanika Miller. According to the documents, Guobadia applied for U.S. citizenship and naturalism, but it was denied on July 27, 2022. Subsequently, he requested a hearing and the denial was reaffirmed, child.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this real fast. I don't care who gets mad at me. I think this relationship, and I don't know this lady from Cat. I don't know her at all. I mean, I've seen her on the ratchet shows, but I don't know her personally. But I can say this relationship, unfortunately, is one of those modern day marry me and I get you papers. And so I think she did a great job. I think she went out to the country. I think she had a lot of work done. I think she looks amazing. I think that he's an attractive individual, but I still think he is a convicted felon and he's a danger to the U.S. Embassy. And so that's why he's going to stay in whatever country that he's in. And I hate to say it, and, people have been doing it for years for Spanish people, but you know what? Maybe he needs to be in Africa. She needs to go visit him, but he just can't come here yet. And we're going to see how this love works out. We're going to see how in love they were. Praise God. We're going to see this. And that's it. And I said what I said.
Can I just say, y'all in the comments are taking me all the way out on the next
It's the truth. It's the truth. We're about to see how much they love each other.
You know what?
Hey, if all else fails, she can completely change her face like her other compadre, Nene Leakes, and the rest of them. They are literally rebuilding their faces. So, I mean, if all else fails, rebuild your face. She's beautiful, though.
She's a beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
This topic was about Simon Guobadia. How far? I don't even know. Listen, okay. My goodness. So
who's fat? Who is he calling fat?
No. Listen. So let me just start off by far, not fat. I know what he meant. I dated a Nigerian once.
Ooh. Tell me I'm wrong. They trying to get here. Hell, if they trying to get here on a boat.
No, listen.
You can meet me by airplane.
Let me just start out. Let me just start off by saying shout out to the Nigerian community.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm here for the pepper soup. I'm here for the fufu. I'm here for what you laughing for? I ain't even said nothing. I dated I went to a Nigerian wedding and everything. I don't know why, and this is why I keep going like this, because it was stressful.
Yeah.
It was just stressful.
Yeah.
It definitely and does it deter me from dating someone from a country in Africa? Because remember, Africa is a continent.
Correct.
No, it doesn't. But I don't.
I know she's beautiful, but I really feel like he married her, and vice versa. She wanted that life, and I.
You know what?
Really
we got a lot of
stuff.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this story. I'm gonna just tell the story,
please.
So whatever, child. I feel like the show's almost over. We're gonna get to something. We're gonna talk about a little something. So I dated this Nigerian, right? Y'all, I ain't told the story in a long time.
Oh Lord Jesus.
And he had invited me to a pool party. He said, we going to a pool party. I said, okay. And so we go to the pool party, and the pool party turns out to be a freak party. Listen, so the owner of the house is giving me a tour of this house, and it's got a lot.
What state are you in? California?
I'm somewhere on the West Coast.
I was thinking it. Thank you.
So let me tell y'all something. So I go, and the owner's showing me around the house, showing me the bathroom, the bedrooms, all the books, because he's a retired professor.
You was in LA, huh? You was in California, huh?
Yeah. So he's like, oh yeah, I keep photo albums of all the parties that I have. Would you like to see the photo album? I shit you not. So I'm looking through the photo album, and guess who I'm seeing in all the photos?
The guy?
Yes. I mean, just a happy, just a getting swallowed up, baby.
Swallowed up. Shut up,
Dr. Holt. When I tell you, I had let the full Aries Tories out. I blew up. I went off and flew back the next day.
You were in Georgia.
Anyways.
Nigga, you was in.
Dang.
That's what you was last year. Now this was, and that's another thing. You dating yourself because this wasn't that long ago. No,
don't matter.
I remember your butt went to Georgia. I knew you was out there doing some bullshit.
Yeah, Kwame, how come we never get to the Wendy Williams story? We never have time. I'm gonna table that. I want to get to it, but it just ain't time for whatever reason.
Okay, so what ended up happening with the guy? Don't do that.
I left. Here's the thing. Let me tell you about me, and let me tell my future partner, my future dude, what I'm about. Don't lie to me.
For real.
Don't because here's what he said. We go to a pool party at some person's house. I'm thinking it's, I'm like, oh, you when somebody tells you we go to a pool party, I'm not expecting to go to the freak house that you frequent all the time.
Wait, who is Jamie Foxx? What was Jamie Foxx doing? So, Daryl, let me just say, hell, Jamie Foxx for that matter.
Okay, but so let's go ahead.
Okay, so Daryl, here's the thing, and back on what we were just talking about as far as you going to the freak offs or whatever. Here's the thing.
It was a pool party under my understanding. I found out it was a freak off.
Were there other people at the pool party when you got there?
Yes, it was a pool party.
Okay, so once he showed you the pictures or whatever, what did you do?
I need you know what? I said I cussed him out and left. Wait, what? First of all, are you insinuating that I enjoyed the freak party then left? Is that what you're insinuating?
No, but what I'm insinuating
so what are you insinuating?
I'm not insinuating anything. I just want, number one, I just wish, and this is, it's not the community I live in, but the community that I live in, so I'm married to a preacher, is we see a lot of stuff. She's a preacher's
wife, y'all.
So we see a lot of stuff. And so, and we see a lot of things go on with people that really don't have like a palate. They don't have I don't want to say a soul, but a lot of things don't bother them. So
listen, you wouldn't have got an invite because you would have been driving me home. Don't bring me into something. I'm not a freak off. Anyways, my private life is my private life. I just wanted to tell you that story. Now, speaking of being a preacher's wife, in the last 8 minutes, y'all, listen and tune in next week because we're going to have a recap of Black History Month and all that other stuff. And Michelle, I'll have you back. As a preacher's wife, not next week. I guess I got a whole team and everything okay, anyways. Michelle think I just roll out of bed and do this show. But as a preacher's wife, we've grown up together and I love you. And one of the private conversations we always have, because I feel like we're opposites, but we understand each other, is the state of the church and where the church is going. We both grown up in the church. We both have seen things. I have left the church. Michelle is convinced that I'll be back. We have a bet that's off. We're not going to talk about the bet.
And he buying me a YSL bag when you go back to the
Didn't I just say we're not talking about the bet? You just don't listen.
All right, fine.
Friend. What is the state of the church in your opinion?
You know what? The state of the church, in my opinion, is this. I am really, 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 really in prayer for the mental capacity of pastors, male and female. I think we are far, far, far. And you and I come from a generation of no women pastors, whatever. But I think we're far past that. And I'm praying for their mental capacity, because people are definitely way more advanced, and the things that we deal with these days, you need a woman in leadership, you need a man in leadership, and I'm praying for their mental capacity. I'm praying for their honesty. I'm praying for their families, and I just want to see the men and the pastors and the women. I want to see them be honest, inside and
What?
out. I
So
want to
let
see them
me
live one life, one life. That's what I
let
want to
me
see, one
ask
life.
you this, because
Mhm.
you are someone who is connected to church. You are, like you said, you're married to a minister.
Mhm.
Um, and you are. Can I say the denomination, or do you want to?
Absolutely, absolutely. Without, yeah, sure.
You're from the Church of God in Christ.
Mhm.
You know, you see a lot of same gender loving people, the gay community within the
Mhm.
church.
Absolutely.
Um, can in a few moments, can we discuss the church and the gay community in the sense of, do you think there will ever be a change in that sense with traditional church, um, and and people who are different? Because I feel like it's not just the LGBT community, but we have, so many people who are different who go to church now, and there just seems to be
Mhm.
like a little rift or divide, between the old church and
Mhm.
what we have now. What do you think?
I think, how do I say this? I think the change that we're waiting on to see is actually happening right before our very eyes. I think that people are living their life out loud, and they are leaving very, very little to the imagination. I think people are living their life out loud, and they're doing things on purpose, to declare their liberty. I think we are far gone from the days of, you're sharing an apartment, two women sharing an apartment, that's my roommate. I think we're past that. I do. And I think we were past that like a decade ago.
So is
But
the church in denial in that
absolutely,
aspect?
absolutely, absolutely, without question. And I think the first people to get the memo, and they could say whatever they want. But we have a large brotherhood. Well, I mean, Church of God in Christ is the largest Pentecostal denomination in the world. So I think, but we actually have a ton of churches in Georgia. Whether you may or may not know it. So I think even in Georgia, I think they're doing things that are literally revolutionary. In Georgia, we have quite a few, what do they call it? Man and first man church, or whatever you call
First
it.
generation churches,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think people are just they're living their life out loud. They are leaving very, very, very minimal to the imagination. And it is whatever you think it is.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing when you talk about leaving little to the imagination?
I think that it'll draw the crowd that that church desires to draw. So I think that the the gentleman, the first gentleman. I mean, I think it's very out in the open. What they believe in, and I think the people that go to that church, feel comfortable under that type of ministry. I mean, and that's just true. We witnessed, but I mean, look at the progression of it all, Daryl.
Yeah.
I remember a time when a pastor got married, and he would beat his wife for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the mothers told you to hold on, baby, stay with him. God gonna fix him. You put makeup on your black eyes or whatever. But we actually have pastors and first ladies now that are going through divorce. They are separating, getting remarried. So we are far gone. And I think talking about homosexuality in church and people's sexuality preference, I think that it's a cop out. And I think everybody knows that. I think when you run out of things to talk about, it's played out now that when you're, running into people's sexuality preference or whatever, try walking the Bible. Try preaching the word outside of that. And I
Mm.
think that those churches, I think the last of that ministry. The last of those type of churches went away with COVID.
Yeah.
I think when those church doors closed for COVID, I think that was like, yep, thank you, Major. The day is done. It's over with.
The day is done. I know you
days,
coach it, Michelle. You
listen,
know how I know you coach it?
What?
Because I got to pull your coattail all the time. You gonna preach. You know she's a preacher too.
Come on, Major.
She's a preacher. She gonna preach you under the table for a second.
No, because it's over. So Daryl, listen, let me tell you something. My good friend, by the time you make it back into the pulpit and you buy me that YSL bag, I want you to know something, okay? Friend, I want you to know that no matter what your preference is, whatever you do, at the end of the day, I promise you, wherever your foot treads, I promise you the power of God is going to meet you there. And I think that whatever you do and whatever you agree with, I think that you will have to, each individual, each Christian will stand before God for themselves. And I think that that's just the truth. Thank you, Kwame.
Thank you, Kwame. Okay.
It's true.
I'm sure a lot of you probably agree. Michelle thinks I'm going to be preaching one day in the pulpit. So we have been running.
Do you guys see the shouting videos? He's warming up.
I mean, I tell people I'm forever churchy. I spent a good formative time in my life in the church, so that's always, a part of me. But, there's other parts of me also. That's for my man to know and for my man to find out. Anyways, listen, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on the Daryl Walter Show. I really appreciate your beautiful self and your beautiful light. Listen out there. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, do me a favor, go follow me on the Daryl Walter Show on Facebook, on TikTok, social media across the board. Follow Michelle at The Balanced Life Conversation. And listen, if you have a dream, keep living it. If you have a vision, see it through. Until next Wednesday, y'all later. I gotta go.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.